know if we're ready, but we're going.
Let's start it anyway. That's the spirit. Charge.
Geek.com brings you Talkin' Walkin' Comics with Jeans.
And Kelly.
There he is.
And brief appearances by Saul Goodman, bobblehead.
It's gonna be a long, stinking 30 minutes. Yeah, we're doing issues 25 to 29. 28? Wait, what? What are we doing? 28.
Okay. 25 through 28. 4 episodes, because we figured...
Issues.
So want to be competent. Oh, laugh at me, eh? I wonder what I could do to annoy you back. No, okay. All right. Yes, 4 issues.
All right. So we left off with them having formed a committee. They decided that Rick was no longer capable of providing leadership and formed a committee.
So they went to the most powerful of all organizational action forms, a committee. So
that's right.
Those work so well. So
yeah. So I have this really big backlog of like things that are just not
good.
Constructive.
Tell me about it, G.
Yeah, not constructive to say about committees and meetings and things of that nature.
Yes, yes, indeed.
So let that go there. So, issue number 25. Hey.
Okay, you'll have to do. You'll have to carry the voice because I can do.
I cannot.
I can do Kamer Dixon. That's my only. It's my only voice I can do, and one line from the Bug in Men in Black.
Yeah, I can't do a Fargo accent through the whole show because I'll just want to rip my own ears off my head. I want to mention 25 has a fantastic cover, the Riot gear.
Yes, the first Charlie, and I probably butcher his name, Adlard cover. So he was the one that took over around episode 6 or issue 6 or 7, and the original artist was still doing the covers, and then at this point, this is his first cover, and it is awesome because it's bloody Riot gear.
Yeah, it looks awesome. It also makes them look like they're a lot more organized than they really are.
Yes. Fun fact on this cover. I have 2 fun facts about covers here. First one, this is the only cover where The Walking Dead appears in the middle of the issue. On that cover where this says The Walking Dead, the script or the title, this is the only cover ever where it's not at the top. So you get that. And then number two for us, and it was just kind of weird, is since we moved to our group of 4, all 4 of these covers for 25 through 28 feature Riot gear. It's a lot of Riot gear.
I know, I was gonna say this is like the Riot gear show because it's all they focus on that a lot.
I kept going, well, maybe they can't do it 3 in a row. Oh, they did. No, they won't do it 4 in a row. Well, they did.
They did.
So
very excited about Riot gear apparently. So all right. Basically, you know, they don't open up directly to Riot gear, but it sort of, you know, goes blah 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 blah. Riot gear.
It's all about the body armor. They're going to get to it because we do before. The only prequel stuff before in issue 25 is, you know, Rick and Herschel are chatting around searching the prison, and they had found the generator. Oh, this will make our life better. And Rick mentions he just hasn't heard music in a while. And I wonder, Jeans, what do you think is on Rick Grimes' playlist?
I don't know.
He's an Oak Ridge Boys guy.
I was gonna say I'm thinking country music. I don't see a lot of like 80s music or, you know. Yeah, I'm thinking
no Japanese hip hop. I don't think.
No. No, I'm thinking he's a country music fan. That man. Shane though, I think Shane would have some like headbanger stuff.
He's a boy band guy. He's like
Shane is not a boy band.
He's all boy band. That's all he's got. One Direction.
That's just so wrong.
I'm telling you. That'd be actually kind of a fun thing to do, is come up with a playlist for each of the characters.
Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't mind doing that in a blog. I can get on that. Yeah, so they're searching the prison, clearing out sections and stuff, and then they come upon Glenn and Maggie, and they've got riot gear. And I thought it was a little odd that they didn't mention the shocking number of shotguns in the same room as the body gear, but you know.
Yeah, none of the weapons made the cover. Well, yeah, none of the weapons made any of these covers, but the body
No,
armor,
but
yeah.
when Glenn takes them, I mean, there's a great big giant rack, shotguns all the way down the side of the room. Didn't occur to him. I don't know. I would think that would be, you know, really important ammunition, even if you are in a prison. I mean, there's still things to do. So it just, I don't know. It seemed like an odd omission to me, but I guess, you know, he didn't think it was important. Yeah, and I thought it was interesting that they had to mention the fact that they were playing basketball on the sofa.
Yeah, and that I believe grossed Axel out. And so when you're grossing out,
Dale,
is it Dale?
Dale's like, I'm never touching that sofa again.
It's like, Dale, have you ever seen yourself in a cartoon panel, a comic panel? You want to talk gross? I don't want to see you and your sweetie on the couch, buddy.
I know. The first thing I thought too, I'm like, Dale, nobody wants to see you with Nookie either, so button it up, Buttercup.
He's probably more a beanbag chair guy anyway. So
just peel that right off of him, right?
One of those inflatable Bud Light chairs or something like that. Nice imagery.
I am overtired, so I am just giddy. I'm sorry. All right. Yeah, I think. Anyway, we'll skip over that. Okay, so then Carol gets all like meepy with Lori.
A lot of Lori Carol cell time here in these next couple issues. This is where Carol, every Mother of the Year candidate who tried to commit suicide in front of her daughter, is now worried because her daughter acts as if nothing happened. And
yeah.
It's like, maybe she's in shock, Carol. What do you think about? But
maybe she's psychologically damaged.
And who's to thank for that?
So then there's a lot of talk about siphoning gas for the generator. And it also occurred to me that like nobody's looked around for tanks. It seemed odd because you would think with a generator on site that there would be gas tanks on the premises as well, and
or a pump.
Something.
Yeah,
I thought it was odd that did not come up at all, but that they go immediately over to let's go to the parking lot and start siphoning gas. But you know, okay, because I don't think I've ever been somewhere with a gas generator that didn't have a gas tank.
I've not been to too many gas generator-based locations, so I'm going to have to go with you on that.
I've worked at a couple of places that have had them.
And so they'd have like a big...
Yeah. Looks like a giant hog sitting on the side of the building.
Oh.
Anyway. And I wanted to mention as well that they mentioned zombies specifically zombies like 3 times in this issue.
Yeah, and going back through for this, I read through the comic a long time ago, and I didn't pick up on the big distinction between the fact that television world, you never say the Z word, and
right.
The universe where Night of the Living Dead was never released or whatever, it's a zombie-free existence, including the word, where here, it's been in a couple earlier issues, and yeah, it gets hit pretty hard here.
I know, because people get very upset. in Twitter when when you don't call them walkers, when you call them zombies, and I knew somewhere I had read it in at least one of the comics. I knew it had come up, and so I was sort of a little bit gleeful when I found it 3 times in this one, because I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to continue to say zombies because I'm a fan of both, and y'all just going to have to deal with that.
Yep. And you need to shoot me the names of those people on Twitter that complain about it, because I want to make sure that I block them. If this is your issue, really?
Yeah. So Glenn says it, and then it comes up a couple more. Carl says it, and there's a strange sort of offhand apology out in the yard from Rick to Alan's grave, sort of, and it ends with this kind of peculiar. And sorry about your leg.
Yeah, and it's back to that buddy pal kind of mojo that totally made up. They were not friends.
And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, he's talking more to him now that he's dead than he ever did when he was alive.
And he's equally responsive, so.
Exactly. Totally. And then there's some friction there then between Dale and Otis, because Dale's talking about sort of what needs to be done, and Otis thinks that Dale is assuming that he's stupid. And then there's some friction between, so it's like the old man friction that goes on, because it's between Dale and Otis, and then it's between Axel and Herschel, because Axel says something about Maggie or Glenn being off with that hot chick sort of thing, and Herschel's like, that's my daughter. And then there's a helicopter crash.
Well, then it doesn't. I don't believe it crashes in issue 25. I believe it passes.
Yes.
It's on its way down. Wow.
Stickler. Yes. So yeah.
According to my notes.
Okay. So at the very beginning of 26, it crashes.
Yes.
So I didn't make the distinction.
Spoilers. She's ruined the whole show.
So yeah, I didn't make this distinction that one is ended and another is beginning. Okay. There we go.
My apologies.
All right.
It's not an important distinction. I don't know why you're making it. Anyway.
Yeah.
So did the helicopter crash, Jeans? I think it did.
I think it did.
Refresh me. Yes.
So So then Glenn and Rick and Michonne go to investigate.
Is that your best lineup? If you're going to go investigate a helicopter crash, is that the 3 you're sending?
Not me, no. Not so much. But I don't know. I mean, if I had my druthers, there would be a Daryl in there, but obviously we don't can't have no Daryl.
You can't have no Daryl. Sorry, but he would have been awesome to be in this group. But
yeah, I just don't feel yet like Glenn is really warrior worthy, sort of go get him material yet. Particularly because he and Rick did like this test run of the Riot gear, and they were a little frazzled by it, I guess it seemed. Talking about the boots are uncomfortable, and I don't know if you need the visor, it'll just get in your way, and no one's throwing anything at you, just put the visor up, and just it was a very odd conversation, but it seemed like if anybody was going to go into sort of a situation like that, probably not Glenn. I don't think at this stage in the comic. For me, anyway.
And for this issue, the cover again. This is all body armor all the time, all four covers featured. This has got an arm or a hand, basically body armor, bottom part of the arm going into the hand, and it's in the foreground. In the background, there are 2 zombies.
Yes.
Did you think, when you looked at it, they were trying to at least hint that perhaps those 2 zombies were Lori and Herschel? Because it was a long, dark-haired woman zombie that was, they were zombie faces, so you couldn't tell for sure. But they do that kind of, the cover alludes to kind of sort of some of the activities, but not necessarily everything. And
sometimes it alludes to things that don't happen, like with the hanging, that didn't happen, because they showed his feet, and Rick sort of in the background as though they had hung him, and it never took place. So yeah, no, that did not occur to me.
It might to take a peek. It wasn't over hit you over the head kind of thing. But I looked at it, I go, I want, I could see maybe, but obviously it's not. But darn it for Lori.
I know, right? I was gonna say at least half that equation would have been fantastic.
Yeah, I would have been accepting of that.
Yeah.
But then we get a little more Lori Carroll time in the cell.
Yes, we do. I was just gonna say, and Carol gets all perky with the promise of watching movies using the generator with Lori.
Yes.
Yeah, I just really. And Andrea and Dale adopt Alan's kids, which I thought was like about time someone said something to them, because there's been a whole lot of nothing. Like the guy died, he had kids, and then.
And then there are you our mom and dad. So one of them asks, "Are you our mom and dad now?"
Yeah.
And Dale's answer is, "You can call us that if you like," which is a non-answer.
Yeah. Well, and then it's funny is Andrea's face is like, oh god, she's like hiding her face, and I don't know if it's because she's upset or if it's because she's just not comfortable. It was kind of funny. And yes, and so we go back to investigating the helicopter crash, and Rick gets a little bit of a lecture from Michonne. Get over your fight with Tyrese, you big wuss.
Yeah. Yeah, she gives a little advice there, and then she's chatty. This is a much chattier Michonne than TV Michonne.
Yes.
Tells the story of how she got her sword. That there was a annoying neighborhood boy, and once he was out of the picture, she went in and picked it up.
Yes. Yeah, and that she was a lawyer as well. We learned.
You know who else is a lawyer, Gene? Just say it.
I had to mention it. I could have just glazed right over that.
You could have got. I chose not to, but we're gonna have to give him credit, equal credit in the podcast. Gene's Kelly and Saul Goodman.
I'll add it in the credits. Sure.
I'll take all the joy out of it.
Just suck the joy right out of everything.
That's right. Fun killer.
And then they go back to the prison, and Lori's kind of having a little bit of a temper tantrum over the fact that Rick hasn't called.
Yeah, basically.
Well, and I was slightly unclear on exactly how this is supposed to work. We have no place to charge our cell phones, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, yeah,
service.
I mean, cell service. Do we what? Because she literally, I mean, she says that he hasn't called. So and then I was like, do they have some kind of walkie-talkie thing I don't know about? Is there? What? Well, what is she? What?
Maybe that's it. Because it was weird when I read that. But it was Lori, so I accepted it. But maybe, I mean, there is probably a decent amount of radio communication capabilities. If they found the room with all the body armor and that, I would imagine there'd be walkie-talkies and other things too.
But if they made a big deal out of making everybody wear prison clothes, don't you think they should have made a big deal over the fact that they had walkie-talkies and they could talk to each other?
Yeah.
Or at least they should have.
Versus visor up, visor down conversation. Yeah, that would be. If I was making choices and there were walkie-talkies in play, I'd have spent a panel or two on that. Versus, hey, we got walkie-talkies. They work like this.
That's all I'm saying. So anyway,
I'm sure Kirkman watches this looking for tips, saying, "How can I refine my art? Wonder what Jeans and Kelly think about the flow of the story."
So yeah, so anyway, it was an odd thing that just popped up, and I was like, how is he supposed to call her? Does she remember where she is and what's going on outside?
She does kind of have a point in the part of, I mean, she's kind of continuing to nick at, boy, he sure doesn't mind being away. Being away and at risk.
Yeah, and which I can't say I blame him, given what's at home. But
yeah, that's true. But I mean, boy, talk about it's got to be pretty bad at home when your next choice is, yeah, I'll go walk around the dead people.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she's nice out of comic.
Maybe.
Off the page, I'm sure she's just a darling.
Oh, of course. Of course
okay.
she is.
So, this is where
Big
Carol
moment. Yes.
proposes marriage to Lori. So that the three of them can live happily ever after.
Yeah, I think that it's tied right around the time the baby kicks or something, and Carol, it's the whole "can I feel the baby kick" thing's creepy enough to me anyway in a non-pre three-way marriage proposal moment. Yeah. So she pitches it, and Lori's shocked.
Yeah. And I was already sort of, I mean, when we've talked about this extensively, I like Carol on the show a lot, not at all in the comic, and this really sort of left turn at Albuquerque kind of thing, really kind of sealed that deal for me, because she is just not even on the same planet as the rest of us. You know, she starts talking about how she's, you know, she loves both of them, and, you know, she doesn't think she's been reading into it too much, and it just got, you know, sort of like super awkward, and like reading the frames, you're like, can I just skip ahead? I don't really want to watch this unfold. Thank you.
You know, we both have a love of DVDs. You know, it's all these incredibly close bonds to make the pitch, and she just,
although. And Lori points out the fact that they really honestly don't know each other that well at all.
Yep.
So, and is probably happy to keep it that way at this point.
Now.
Yeah.
I would say for sure.
Back to the helicopter.
Which is not in good shape.
Not in good shape, yes.
Because as Gene spoiled for you, it crashed.
Like I do.
Sorry. You know, it's been a big moment for you as a listener. The helicopter crashed, and you'd have been like, wow, but, you knew.
Sorry, not sorry. How about that?
Yeah.
We done?
Yeah, all right. Okay. Well, I think the helicopter's down. We're covered. Yeah, we're done.
All right.
We go Saul on you, man. That's all I'm saying.
And this is when we find out that there's that there's like tracks kind of around the helicopter, so people either showed up or left. It's a little sketchy at that point. Hey, so we had another situation where we had to chop up an episode. This was supposed to be 25 through 28, but the discussion ended up being like 49 minutes, and we didn't want to bore you guys to death. So we are trimming this one back to 25, 26. Next week will be 27, 28. Eventually, we'll hit a rhythm, and we'll figure this out. I mean, after all, we've got like 130 issues total to run through, so I'm sure we'll hit our stride at some point. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.